I just watched your movies and I'm fascinated. And I see then you call yourself a modern elder, and I really like this a lot. It's really fit to this what you're doing. I also like this. Then you are interested in the meaning, and tell me more about this. What it mean for you being modern elder?
Well, let me start with the meaning. Have you ever heard about Viktor Frankl?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. He was my teacher.
Yes, I noticed this in.
Yeah, he was one of my teachers. And when at the age of 26, I met him for the first time as a student. I didn't understand any word. And then I started to work as what you would call nowadays a coach for personal development. And after 2 or 3 years, some clients came and said, Dieter, we like what you're doing, but can't you go a little bit deeper? And then by coincidence, and I don't believe in coincidences, I met Viktor Frankl again, basically because my mother knew him. And he took me under his wings and he said, why don't you help your clients to find an answer to the simple question, why are you really here on this planet, besides to make money, besides to make career, besides to get recognition and maybe raise children? Why are you really here? And so ever since almost 40 years now, I'm not doing anything else but helping people to find the purpose in life and how to live it. And since I'm 66, and since I don't like this categorizing of mentor, coach, or therapist, I was thinking about something which is a little bit less categorizable. So I came up. Well, I didn't come up with it. There is an American guy who has a modern elder academy in Mexico, but he's from United States. And so I thought the term modern elder, this is something where I cannot be put too much into a category.
Yes, I like
And
this a lot.
it fits to me. It fits to me in terms of age as well.
Yes, in for title of elder in First Nation in Canada, it's not always mean age. Because people who have enough wisdom, they getting a
That's the
title
point.
of elder.
That's the point. For instance, part of my work is to help people to come from knowledge to wisdom. I have a program which has three subtitles, so to speak. It is from success to fulfillment, from aging to saging, and from knowledge to wisdom. And wisdom, as you're saying, doesn't have to do anything with age. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's a different thing.
This is fantastic. This is what I was fascinated because this is very rare today. No, maybe in North America, maybe in Europe is more of this because in Poland, when I grow up, most of people looking for something meaningful in life, and they money not we can't just sell ourselves to without we losing ourselves if we're selling ourselves just to have money. This is this kinds of thinking when I grow up.
Yeah.
And
Well, especially in North America, of course, or in the United States, I should say, it is at least to the outside. You have to be successful. You have to make a lot of money. But uh, if you talk to people of a certain age, let's say 40, 45 plus, who have some life experience, and if you ask them among four eyes and maybe after some glasses of wine, if they want to continue to live the life the next 10 years like the last 2 years, then they say no. And then you say, and then you have the door opened. The challenge is that most people, especially in the United States, believe their system is the only system. It's money, money, money. It's success, success, success. They define their happiness via success and money. And they believe there is no other way. Because in school, we only learn about this stuff. We learn about facts and figures. We don't learn about the emotional things. So it takes some time to, and unfortunately, very often a lot of pain. before people start to think, well, this cannot be everything in life. There must be more to life. Like a heart attack or getting divorced or getting fired. Only then most people start to think. Or if you ask them, do you want to continue the next 10 years like the last 2 years? And then softly in small steps, you can show them, there are ways how to live not just a successful, but rather a fulfilling life. And B, you have the answers all side in yourself. In my philosophy, everyone, all of us, we have all the answers, the wisdom, here we go again, inside ourselves. We simply have not learned how to access it. So I see my job not as a teacher, not as a guru or whatever. I just help people to find their own answers and to implement them.
Yes, yes. I like this, your
And
title.
it's getting better in the United States as well. I mean, more and more people are becoming aware that money isn't everything. They simply don't know how to deal with this, what to do about it.
Yes, this is exactly what is my experience, because if I work as a business coach in Yes Montreal. This is for what was for young people organization
Yeah,
when I was living in Montreal before, and many people coming to ask without any idea, ready idea to have business, but with question, what kinds of business I should start to be successful? What it
exactly,
mean for you to be
exactly.
successful? Meaning, next question, being successful, of course,
Yeah, yeah,
surprise, means have a lot of money to
yeah, yeah,
become
exactly,
millionaire before
exactly,
age of 30. And
exactly.
the same was before it. What kinds of education I should choose to be
Mm.
successful
Yeah, yeah,
today?
yeah, yeah.
But it's not possible, because to make choice according to money, because life is changing so much,
Mm.
and something what was good yesterday cannot working next
Yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah.
And if you choose to be mm, software developer, but you don't have talent to this, you can't be enough good software developer
Mm.
to be
And
successful.
beside this, you have to go even deeper than this. Not just what your skills are. So, because of what you're saying, for instance, I do not take clients younger than 35, 40 years of age, because they simply don't have the life experience. They still believe success, and it's a highway to success. Only once you have some business experience, family, maybe children, maybe even the relationship difficulties, then you see that life is not just a straight line, that it's an up and down, and it's not all paradise. And only then, once you have had some downs, people are more open to think about it in a deeper way. And for instance, what you were saying now about a job skill or so, I'm always no. Let me give you a practical example. Well, two examples. Some 25 years ago, I was doing a workshop in Switzerland for the board of directors of a rather well-known Swiss company, 7 men, typical Swiss, 7 men, and all 55 plus of age. And I gave them an exercise in this workshop. And one of the exercises was I asked them to write down who should see your success you have achieved so far in your life. Who should see it? So they wrote it down. And in the coffee break and at the dinner time, they came to me one by one to share their individual personal answer with me. But you know what happened? Five out of 7 men told me they've been writing down their father, even so he has maybe been dead for many years, but they've been working 40 years, 60, 70, 80 hours a week, heart attack, divorce, no time for children, only to be able to go to daddy and to say, look what I've achieved, daddy, I'm a good boy, right? And if that isn't alive anymore to say, he would have been so proud if he still would have been around. Completely driven their whole life subconsciously. They believe it's about success in the outside world. It's about money. No, this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's about insight. And just the other example, which happened just some 6 years ago in Vienna, Austria, I was invited in a startup event because it starts at young age, unfortunately. And there was a competition. I was in the jury, and there were two young guys, 24, 25 students, get the first prize for an app for elderly people. No idea about the technical details. And then one of them stood up and said, he's so happy and he's so proud at such a young age, do something meaningful for society and yada, yada, yada. And then we had dinner together. And after some glasses of wine, he said, but it would be really nice if now a multinational company would come and buy the whole stuff for 1 or 2 millions. But this was only the beginning. After some more glasses of wine, he said, and then hopefully, finally, my father will come and say, son, I'm so proud of you. They were doing something good for society. No question about this. But deep down, it was for completely different reasons, which is completely okay. But if you're not aware of why you're doing what you're doing, you will be driven your whole life. And you even might be successful. I have a whole lot of clients who come to me and say, Dieter, I've achieved everything in material terms. There's still something missing. Why? And then I ask them, okay, what is your why? What is your non-material why? Why are you on this planet in non-material terms? And most of the time, the answer is silence. So this was a short answer to your long question.
Yes, I have the same experience because clients coming to me with depression, and there are people with money, which society called them successful.
Exactly.
They coming with, they're arriving with a good car in front
Exactly.
of my office,
Yeah.
and they have the same experience. Then they have depression. Why I have depression? I have everything what I want, and but what is missing?
Yeah, exactly.
This is a meaning in life.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we have to find way to first from beginnings find this, what is this meaning in life in this person, what is life goal.
But this is not that easy. I mean, you're a psychologist yourself. When people come to me and say, okay, Peter, I got the point, I got the message, how do you define my why? Okay, but we don't start with your why. And they say, why not? And then because first we have to go a little bit deeper into the subconscious, into the unconscious, and see what blind spots are there, what fears are there, what maybe woundings from your childhood are there. Like this example I was giving before from the Swiss managers. This happened in childhood, that they were driven their whole life. To become aware of this and then to say either, oh, that's okay, or, well, maybe I should change it a little bit. But first I have to know myself a little bit better. And only then define the why. And okay, go ahead.
Sometimes for younger people is easier because if I ask what imagine, then you have all money what you have everything material, you don't have to work. What you will do? Sometimes first action, nothing, sleeping, eating. Yes, but what yet? Think, what you will do? I will play golf. I will play computer games, and slowly from this, maybe something connected to computer games is your maybe.
But you see, this is exactly one of the reasons why I don't work with young people, because they still don't have the life experience. They still believe these superficial things will be the solutions for everything. Unfortunately, I'm always saying Homo sapiens is the wrong term. We are not Homo sapiens, because there's nothing about sapiens. We have to get experience, painful experience usually, and only then maybe people say, okay, I should be doing things differently. And this, again, is the reason why I say at least 40 years of age, otherwise still too inexperienced, still into this idea which is told to us by society: money.
Yes.
And since you are reading Viktor Frankl, I mean, as you maybe know, Viktor Frankl and Sigmund Freud at the beginning were working together, even though there was a big age difference, but they were working together. But Frankl separated from Freud for one major reason. which is Frankl was always saying Sigmund Freud is dealing with the past, with your wounds from the past, and that's okay, but you must not get stuck there. But it's difficult to get out of this if you say, I don't want any more, dot, dot, dot. It's much easier if you say, I want to go somewhere. I have a vision, I have a mission, I have a meaning. Then it's much easier to go away from the past. And he was always saying, Freud was talking about the depth psychology and he's talking about the height psychology. But it has to be both. So I'm also working with clients a little bit about the past to get aware of it, but then and only then go into the future and define in a creative way, in a hopefully more or less unblocked way, the real idea about meaning and purpose and fulfillment.
Yes, I agree with them with this, because escaping from something leading us nowhere. But if we have goal and we know what we want to do, it's easier to.
And I would say not just a goal, Mary. I would say it has to go deeper than a goal, because for me there's a difference between goal and meaning/purpose. A goal is something I want to achieve at a certain point of time, while meaning or purpose is an underlying theme, an underlying motto or mantra, whatever you want to call it, which is for me maybe for the rest of my life. So it's not just about goals, because a lot of people say I want to achieve a goal, but then they're talking about material goals. And I'm not talking about material stuff.
Yes, sometimes, yes, this is another important point, because goal can be sometimes never achieved, but if we are on the right path and we enjoying this path. The same what I always try to explain to my parents, because it's difficult to be famous, rich artist, but I don't need to be famous rich artist. I want just paint.
Well, there's also this saying, do what you love and money will follow.
Yes. This is another thing.
Yeah, but even deeper than this, I'm also using very much the Japanese concept of ikigai. Are you aware of ikigai?
Yes, I know, and I like this a lot. Yes.
But I have developed it a little bit further. I'm calling it ikigai 2.0. But the basic idea is I can be successful if I make use of my passion and my talents. But in order to be fulfilled or to have lasting success, I also have to do something which is of benefit for others in non-material terms. It has to be of benefit for others. If not, I can be successful, but it will not have fulfillment.
Yes, exactly. This really showing this all possibilities, including money, because if we dedicate our life for something, we have to. It's good to have possibility to survive by doing this, but then this money part is also important, but it's only small part of this.
Exactly. If it's the main part, we can be successful, but we probably will not achieve fulfillment.
Yes. And also another things, because I notice something, what is good for both of us, because I see that many young people who have YouTube channels, they touching topic how to find your meaning. I see hope in this new generation. I see hope in millennials, because many of them remind me they're doing some things what we like is in baby boomers generation. I see some similarities, just with being in distance to this world and starting something different, and they very often asking searching for meaning.
In general terms, I agree with you, but there's one observation which makes it a little bit more difficult. I have observed that once young people either turn 30 or become parents, their mindset changes dramatically for most of them, not for all of them, but for most of them. Because they had big dreams, but then all of a sudden there is a baby, for instance, and stuff like this, or they turn 30 and they get into age panic, and then most of them get very pragmatic. Think about the generation, the 68 generation, 1968 generation, okay? Mm-hmm. Nowadays, they're all close to retirement, but they were lawyers, doctors, very traditional jobs. The hippie generation, when they were young, this was flower power. Okay, but after we, it seems to be in human beings, when we achieve a certain age or reach a certain age and or have family, then the pragmatistic approach kicks in, which is understandable, which is okay. But it means that many people, most people, of these young people who had big ideas, all of a sudden get very back down to earth.
Yes, this is true. But how you can how you can talk with the clients what I have recently? Then men coming and saying something like this in American, and in US people don't have uh, too much vacation. They have only 2 weeks vacation usually. In Europe, I have 1 month, and here is 2 weeks. So in some places, can be more. Another things, if someone working in corporate jobs, they don't have, they not working, they are not paid by hour, but they have per month and per year salary. They
Okay.
can be high salary, can be $500,000 per year, but very often they don't have mm, a boss can ask them to work anytime and give a lot of pressure and a lot of work for them, then very often they working more than 8 hours per day, not only in
Okay.
office, taking something to home and have big responsibility in pleasure.
Yeah.
And if they choose this to have this money and they are successful, how they can deal with this, what is meaningful in this situation.
They only will deal with this question once they feel unhappy, once something went wrong, when either in the softest way they realize money is not everything, or more likely that they lose their job all of a sudden, they get fired, they have a heart attack, they have a burnout, or divorce, as I was saying earlier. Only then most people will start thinking what it could be different. And in terms of that someone is changing, I'm hesitating with the word because I don't like the word, but someone is changing, it's much easier, again, as I was saying a moment ago, if you know your meaning, if you know what is really important to you. It, and then I'm always recommending my clients to start in small steps, to define their purpose and do it as a side hustle. So just to give you an example, I have a client, she's working in the bank in a rather high position, and there it is, 60, 70 hours a week, okay? And she's 43, 44. She doesn't have kids. She can't get kids. She loves kids. So she's decided at the age of 50, she's going to work for an NGO. She's aware she will earn much less money, but this will be okay for her because she will have saved enough money up to then. But she doesn't want to wait until the age of 50. So 2 years ago, she started every second Saturday afternoon. There's this NGO called SOS Children Villages, which is all over the world. And there's one not far away from her place where she's living. And every second, not now because of the virus, but 2 years ago when she started, every second Saturday in the afternoon, she went there to play with orphan children and started to teach them English, for instance, as well. So in small steps, and now she's thinking to write a book about it because of the virus. She's saying, what can I do? So maybe write a book about it. So first, unfortunately, we have to have pain, most of us. Second, then see what's holding me back, maybe from childhood. What are my triggers? What are my real reasons why I want to do something to prove myself? Then define my meaning, my purpose, and then implement it in small steps, while you'll still maybe have your regular job. Sooner or later, then you might say, it's enough. I don't want this anymore, this job. I focus more on my meaning, and like this client of mine, switch gear, so to speak, or switch track. But in small steps, defining and in small steps.
Yes, this is true. This is also some all system of family, because family can support or can be against. Family wife won't keep present level of money, or opposite wife won't have husband more often at home. then everything depends for all family, and this is work with all family.
It depends on family values. It depends on my education, my programming from childhood, and the other family members. It depends if I have the feeling I'm not good enough. I need to prove something. It depends if I want to show to my parents, yes, I am lovable. There's so many subconscious stuff going on there. So whenever managers ask me, because you were saying this at the beginning, Dieter, what's the most important thing for me to learn to be a successful leader?
Uh-huh.
I answer, to know yourself. And they say, I know myself. And then I ask them some questions, and then they sometimes even start crying. And this is good. This is good, because most of us don't know ourselves good enough to be able to live a fulfilling life.
Yes, yes, this is all true. I think then I ask you already all questions.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Do you have anything what you want to add to this?
No, actually, the last part here we were just talking about, which is to know yourself, is actually the most important thing. Okay, then there are two more things maybe which are a little bit more deeper, so to speak. One thing is that I believe that there is an inner meaning and an outer purpose. I don't think there's only one meaning or one purpose. I think there's an inner meaning and outer purpose. The outer purpose is, as the name says, to also do something for others, not just for myself. This is the easier part, so to speak. And the inner meaning is something which is actually even more difficult for most people, which is more spiritual, sometimes religious. And completely egocentric, not egoistic, egocentric. It's an answer to the question, why am I really here on this planet? Why am I really here on this planet? And from an egocentric perspective. So for instance, in my case, it is to go deeper than the material way of living, to be in harmony with myself, to be in peace with myself, because only then I will be able to be in harmony and peace more or less with the world around myself. So my inner meaning is to be in harmony and in peace with myself. My outer purpose is to be in harmony with other people, and if they want, to help them to find their own purpose and to live it. So it's inner meaning and outer purpose. There's a difference, and especially this inner meaning can be very spiritual for some people, which is perfectly fine, but to help them to find out what it is.
I have another question yet, because meaning
I
can
had
be,
the
because
feeling that
we
something
talk
was crossing your mind. Yeah.
Yes, yes, it was because we talk about work and career, but meaning should be also in relationship. What can be also can be? Do you have any advice to married couples about connected to meaning in relationship and value, and how to work with this?
There is an organization where I sometimes do events on relationships, usually on Valentine's Day, and I usually call them the anti-Valentine's Day, uh, because I personally believe that, and this is for a lot of people is a shock when I say this, I really believe that the relationship is nothing about romanticism. I believe that relationships are the subconscious need to fulfill emotional needs, the subconscious wish to fulfill emotional needs. Again, from childhood. For instance, I felt alone in childhood, so I want someone with me so I don't feel alone. Or I'm shy introverted, so instead of learning to become an extrovert, I fall in love with someone who is extrovert. It's the wish to fulfill emotional needs. So my father was always saying, you're not good enough, your brother in your age, you knew this and this. So I want someone who finally tells me, yes, you're good enough for me for the rest of my life. So it's nothing about emotional needs, romanticism. It's about emotional needs. And then in practical terms, I'm always suggesting two things. One is if you meet someone, put your cards on the table. Put your cards on the table. I give a practical example. I was in a relationship. Okay, I was married for 17 years and got divorced. And then I was in a relationship, and she at the second dinner said to me, Dieter, just to be very clear, I do not want to live together with a man anymore. And this was a shock for me because I was just, for me, love meant 24/7. If you love me, you want to be with me all the time. She said no, and I'm grateful to her because she put the cards on the table. Of course, this requires to know yourself. Okay, what is important for me? What is my purpose? What is my meaning? To put it on the table. And if the other one is saying, that sounds interesting, okay, that's a good sign. Or if the other one is saying, okay, one of the classical red flags which we should pay attention to, because most of the time we don't want to see the red flags. So put the card, know yourself, put the cards on the table. And the other thing is for couples, I'm recommending them at least every 3 months, ideally every month, to have a special candlelight dinner. And the special candlelight dinner goes like this. You go to a restaurant, public place, you have your candlelight dinner, but afterwards you write down 3 things about the other one you like and 3 things about the other one you do not like so much. And then you share in a public place. And there are 3 rules. The first one is the idea is to get to know the other one better. It is not about finger pointing. It is to get to know the other one better. The second thing is you always have to start with the positive stuff, because if you start with the not so positive stuff, you will never get to the positive stuff. And the third thing is, if the other one is telling me what she does not like so much about me, I have to shut up for 5 seconds before I give an answer. Because usually if the other one is saying something unpleasant, our brain is really working. Yes, but, and you remember 5 years ago and your mother and blah, 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 blah. No, shut up and only then answer. Because the idea is to understand each other better, to come closer, and ideally to proactively say, look, this is not a problem yet, but it might get a problem. Air it proactively, because most troubles in relationships come not because of the big philosophy matters, because of small things. I had a friend who unfortunately already passed away. He was married for 8 years, and he said the real troubles in his marriage were the stinking socks and the dirty underwear. It's not the big thing, it's the small things. And say it before it becomes a problem, before it becomes a clash. Long story short, a candlelight dinner on a regular basis where you say about each other what you like and also what you do not like, or where you can see potential difficult areas, so you can act about them proactively and not reactively.
Yes, I like these 3 questions because when many years ago I said then relationship is with someone means then you enjoy this what you like in this person and accepting this what you don't like. Always is something what nobody is
Absolutely.
perfect. We just
But
accept and still
the most
love this
important
person.
thing, Mary, the most important thing for me is not to expect that the other one is going to solve my problems. So if I feel alone, if I feel I'm not good enough, I have to work on myself. We'll still need others, no question about this, but not to the extent that I hope that the other one is going to solve this for me. This is from the very beginning already the guarantee that it's not going to work out. That the other one can support me so I can work myself on my issues, but he or she is not responsible for this. I should
Yes,
not have
yes,
this expectation.
yes, exactly. I
But
agree
again,
with
it
this.
comes back to what I was saying earlier. It's knowing yourself, being as much as possible in harmony with yourself, and therefore being able to deal with almost everything in a better way, what's happening to us in the outside world.
Yes, maybe just like this, but also there are some can be some real kind. Maybe not everybody. I in this moment I agree with you, but can be in some kinds of relationship is possible to find meaning together. For example, if 2 person who are trained also as counselor, different kinds, have similar values and work
Yeah.
together. They working together to achieve this value, to change
Yeah.
world for
Yeah.
better. In this moment, this relationship became more rich
Yeah.
because they
Absolutely.
in the top
Absolutely.
of this mm, full just care for each other, because we connecting to other person just to
Absolutely.
care
Absolutely.
for each
Yeah.
other.
It does.
That
It doesn't make a difference if they already have a common purpose or meaning before, or if they find them along the way, so to speak. They have to have it or find it together sooner or later.
Mhm.
I
Or
think it would be
sometimes,
ideal if they have something together at the beginning, but if they develop it along the journey, perfectly fine as well.
yeah,
Sure.
sometimes this meaning can be to raise children and giving them kinds of value which are similar, like
Yes and no. Yes and no. There's a danger because I have a lot of mothers as clients at the age of 45, let's say, and the kids are on the way out. And then they have a big hole, a big black hole, because their purpose was the children, which is beautiful, fine. But what is afterwards? In the old days, like 100 years ago, you had the big families and you had the grandchildren, so it was ongoing. But today, especially in urban societies, all of a sudden you're on your own. And what's
yes,
next? Yeah?
yes,
So they have to be aware that kids can be a temporary purpose, but maybe not the whole life.
yes, yes. Religion can be another purpose if people have similar political value, also or similar religion. This can be also.
Hang on.
I see this.
Just a
I
second.
see just your photo in this moment, but don't worry, I
Yeah.
can wait.
Something went wrong here. Just a second. Let me see if I can change it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Because religion,
Yeah.
just sometimes religion and growing together, helping others, that can be also this value.
I frankly, I have a little bit difficulties with everything which is based on a institution.
Mhm.
There's a big risk in it that we take everything for granted, what is written in the respective book, so to speak, uh,
Mhm.
and uh, uh, and this makes it easy for us not to define our own system. I think it would be much more valuable if everyone would find his or her own value system. And if
Mhm.
then they say, okay, I see this can be met in a church, in a religion, perfectly fine. But many people go the other way around. They say, okay, there is something like a family, a religious circle. I go there, and so I don't have to think about myself what are the real important things and the real values. So there's sometimes a religion can be like a drug.
Yes, in this case, I agree. Then
Yeah.
this should be two independent person which meeting
Yeah.
together, and this
Exactly.
can be
Yeah,
can
exactly.
this because always can be some difference but in this meaning and value personal, then part of this can be together, but part of it can be a problem with freedom if we try to just make too much unity in this case.
Yeah, for instance. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, yes, we should still keep part of freedom.
absolutely. Whatever definition you have of freedom.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Another things, definitions in
Uh,
this case. Yes, it was really great to talk with you. I'm very happy
Pleasure,
that you
Mary.
agree. I'm very
My pleasure.
grateful because this is very important for world today, and special today in this time, a special time in our uh, planet.
Yeah,
Uh, then we sometimes spending more time at home, and we have more time to think about this. And there are questions when people can ask himself, and you give a lot of answers to this, what is very valuable.
Well, I hope they will be able to find their own answers at the end of the day.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes. And
by
also,
asking questions.
yes, I also thought in your website that it's possible to find movies when there are this question what you're asking to help find answer. I found this very good and very valuable to
Very nice
deal
to
with
hear.
this problem.
Thank you for saying it. Okay, Mary. Well, was a real pleasure,
Mhm.
and would be nice to stay in touch and
Yes,
let
for
me know
sure.
if there is any other thing coming up or question or any idea. As I was saying, it
Yes,
would be really nice to stay in touch one way or the other.
yes, with pleasure. Thank you so much for agree to this meeting
Thank
and
you. Real pleasure.
thank you.
I'll send you the link for the recording, okay?
Yes, yes, as soon as you can.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.